Hello students, today we are going to talk about the greenhouse effect. As this word is not new for you guys because you have already studied the greenhouse effect in lower standard as well. So let's recall the concept. Now heat is trapped by glass and hence the temperature inside the glass enclosure will be much higher than the surroundings, and this phenomenon was used to create an enclosure where tropical plants could be kept warm during the winters in colder climates. So basically greenhouse effect, we have gone through the concept that certain plants which cannot be grow in a cold climate, right, and especially during winter season. So to grow that kind of plant we are preparing greenhouse. So basically greenhouse means what? Farm which is covered up with the glass surface, right? A dome shaped glass surface like this way is covered up, right? So what happened when the sunlight enter to this glass surface during the daytime? Definitely the sunlight will enter to this glass surface, and during the daytime because of the presence of sun the climate will become warmer, so plant can be grow easily. But at a night time or especially during winter season the temperature will fall down, right? But because of the greenhouse what happened, the light rays which have entered into the greenhouse will not able to escape back, वो बाहर वापस नहीं निकल सकती. It means under the greenhouse or inside the greenhouse the climate will remain warmer, whether it is a winter season or whether it is a cloudy day or whether it is a night, doesn't matter. Once the sunlight trapped inside the greenhouse it cannot be escaped, and the temperature inside the greenhouse will become warmer. Such enclosures are called greenhouses. Greenhouses have also lent their name to an atmospheric phenomenon. Some gases prevent the escape of heat from the earth. So this is the phenomenon which we are seeing and consider as a greenhouse effect. This kind of effect we can observe naturally in our climate. So that effect we are considering as the global warming, right? So how it can be considered, how we can correlate this global warming with the greenhouse phenomenon. So basically there are certain gases which behave like a glass. Here the glass does not allow the sunlight to escape back exactly somewhere. Same way some gases will not allow the sunlight to escape back. Let's go through it. So some gases prevent the escape of heat from the earth, and increasing the percentage of such gases in the atmosphere would cause the average temperature to increase worldwide, and this is called the greenhouse effect, right? So if I am going to give you the example, then the carbon dioxide. So basically we all know that the proportion of carbon dioxide day by day increases because of the population increases. As the population increases, the consumptions of fossil fuels and the sources which release the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is also going to be increases. And because of that reason what happens, if the proportion of carbon dioxide is increased in the atmosphere, then exactly same way here the sunlight will enter into at the surface of the earth, but it is not able to escape back because carbon dioxide will absorb that sunlight. So what happens, if the sunlight not going to be escape back, then the average temperature of the earth is going to be increases, and that what we call the global warming, right? So an increase in the carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere would cause more heat to be retained by the atmosphere and lead to global warming, right? So global warming means what? The increase in the average temperature of the earth is considered as the global warming, right? So if you consider, if you are going to survey, then before 10 years or after 10 years, if you are going to observe the average temperature of the earth, then you will get to know that 4 to 5 degrees Celsius difference will be there, right? In some year, before some years, if you are going to observe, then the approx temperature would be 37 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius. But nowadays you can see during a summer season it will reach up to the 45 or 47 degrees Celsius, right? So that is the average temperature of the earth has been increased, and that what we consider as the global warming. So now let's talk about the oxygen cycle. As we have seen the carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle and water cycle, now we are going to see the oxygen cycle. So oxygen is a very abundant element on our earth. It is found in the elemental form in the atmosphere to the extent of 21%. As we have seen the composition of air, so we know about it that the composition of oxygen in the air is approximate 21%. It is also occurs extensively in the combined form in the earth crust as well as also in the air in the form of carbon dioxide, right? So in case of carbon dioxide, there is also presence of oxygen. Pure oxygen molecule will be there in the atmosphere, that is of 21%, and in some of the element it will be combined like oxides of certain elements, right? So these are the distribution of oxygen in the earth. In the crust, it is found as the oxides of most metals and silicon, and also as carbonate, sulfate, nitrate and other minerals, right? So in short, we can say that the carbon find out in the earth crust in a different form, in the form of carbonate, in the form of oxides, in the form of sulfate, in the form of nitrate, etc., right? So it is also an essential component of the biological molecules like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids and fat or lipids. So oxygen is also an essential biological molecule. But when we talk of the oxygen cycle, we are mainly referring to the cycle that maintains the level of oxygen in the atmosphere, because we all know that we all human or we all living organisms take oxygen during the respiration process. Then how the percentage of oxygen in the atmosphere will remain the same, or how it is going to be balanced, so that we can understand with the help of oxygen cycle. So oxygen from the atmosphere is used up in three processes, namely combustion, respiration and in the formation of oxides or of nitrogen, right? So in these three processes, the oxygen will going to be utilized. First one is the combustion. As we all know that combustion can be takes place only in the presence of oxygen. Then respiration, all the organisms over the earth will respire. During that it will inhale the oxygen. And then the formation of oxides. So obviously oxides of any element will be because of the oxygen. So oxygen is returned to the atmosphere in only one major process, and that is the photosynthesis. So we also get to know by this that how the plants are important, because plant is only the source which maintain the level which maintain the proportion or amount of the oxygen in the atmosphere, because only the plant during the process of photosynthesis release oxygen, otherwise rest of all the organisms will utilize the oxygens. And this forms the broad outline of the oxygen cycle in nature. So if you go through it, then atmospheric oxygen, that is O2, will be 21%, and we are utilizing that atmospheric oxygen during respiration process. Then organic molecules, like here we have given the example of glucose, right? So now during respiration we are inhaling the O2 and we are taking out CO2 and water vapor, right? During respiration water vapor is also going to be taken out, right? Then if we are going to talk about the photosynthesis process, then in case of photosynthesis process, what happened? During respiration, what the CO2 we have taken out, that will be utilized by plant for the photosynthesis process, and water is also utilized by plant for the photosynthesis process, and it will again release the oxygen in the atmosphere. So releasing of oxygen in the atmosphere having only one source is the photosynthesis, which is performed by plant, and rest of all the organisms during respiration process will inhale the oxygen. Though we usually think of oxygen as being necessary to life in the process of respiration, it might be of interest to you to learn that some forms of life, especially bacteria, are poisoned by elemental oxygen, right? And in fact, even the process of nitrogen fixing by bacteria does not take place in the presence of oxygen. So we all know that oxygen is a life-saving gas. But here some examples given that in some case oxygen can be behave like a poisoned element, or it also interrupt the nitrogen fixation process by bacteria. In the presence of oxygen, the nitrogen fixation process cannot be take place. So these are the two disadvantages of the oxygen, but still we all know that oxygen is the life-saving gas, because without oxygen respiration could not be take place, and without respiration we are not able to live even minutes, right? So this is what about the oxygen cycle.